There are two golden rules without which an ex will never come back. If you break even one of them, she won't even start to miss you. The first rule is incredibly simple. Monitoring your ex 100% of the time blocks her return. Even if you check her page once a week or just looked at a photo of her, where does this desire even come from? Yeah, to snoop to find something out? Because it simply gives the illusion of control. So you saw her new photo, status, number of friends when she was online, and you feel a little bit better, as if you get this short-term relief, but you took it on credit. Tomorrow night, it's going to hit you even harder. Watching an ex's story is like having a hair of the dog. You haven't gotten rid of the headache, you've just delayed it, and now the pain will be much more intense. But the hardest part happens about a month, 2, or 3 after the breakup. That's when your brain throws this idea at you. What if I go to her page right now, and there's my ex with a tear-stained face on her knees with the caption, "Forgive me, please forgive me. I understand everything now." And logically, of course, you understand that such a scenario is impossible. But your imagination tells you, how do you know? You haven't checked. Stalking an ex starts exactly with this when you think, okay, I'll check just once, just one time, and never again. Following an ex is like scratching an itch. When you scratch, it feels better, but the itching only gets worse. Generally, breaking up with a woman is a very powerful blow to your nervous system. A man's psyche can't handle it. Nobody's can. And a guy activates hope. You tell yourself, yes, we're not together, but maybe we'll reconcile tomorrow. Yes, we're not talking, but maybe she'll realize her mistake. So, as a result, you don't get 100% pain, but 50, maybe 40 or 20. Well, it depends on how convincingly you lie to yourself. So, what distinguishes men to whom exes eventually returned? They accepted all the pain to the end. They told themselves, I'm not hoping for anything anymore. They didn't comfort themselves with the idea that their ex should ideally get in touch. On the contrary, they convinced themselves that it was already impossible. They didn't feed that hope, but instead destroyed it with all their might. And all the examples we know from books, from real life, they all say the same thing. Exes only return to those who don't wait, and they never return to those who hope. And there are no exceptions to this system. But if a man has just broken up, a woman has left him, and he's being torn to pieces, then guys, these tips you write in the comments, things like, be a man, respect yourself, hit the gym, well, of course, they don't work. Do you really think that these motivational quotes will help someone whose chest is being ripped apart from the inside? No, of course not. I would compare a breakup to surgery that you really shouldn't perform without anesthesia, and it's only when you implement distance or no contact that you truly start to feel better. You inject yourself with a certain dose of this hope just to avoid falling flat on your face, even if it's not pure no contact but just a pause, but you've made the decision that you will never text her first again, never under any circumstances. Even such a pause will work. True no contact begins the moment you suddenly realize that there are things more important than getting your ex back. The problem isn't that you miss her a lot. That's normal. The problem is that you allow yourself to do it. You allow yourself to want a woman who doesn't want you. You literally stood in front of the mirror and said, I want to be with someone who despises me. I see nothing wrong with that. And at this moment, you're not only betraying yourself, but also a normal woman who could have appeared in your life, who told you, I need you, but you just go and block her entry. You cling to the one who rejected you, and you neglect the one who wants to choose you. You can justify your longing for your ex as much as you want with these words. But I still love her, she's special, I miss her so much. You are now standing at a crossroads, so on the left is your ex, the one who betrayed, deceived, and threw you out. And on the right is a kind woman who is ready to love, ready to be loyal. The question arises, who will you choose? Most guys will choose the ex without hesitation. Well, guys, then don't complain about your life later if you're reaching out to those who trampled you. This is important to remember. Every time you miss your ex, you reject a good woman who could have appeared in your life tomorrow, next month, next year. But you've made that meeting almost impossible. You understand, right? How ungrateful we are. We worry about those who rejected us, and we absolutely don't appreciate those who could be by our side. We are willing to step over normal women for the sake of those who have cut us out of their lives. A breakup is always a fork in the road. So either you whine with the words, I love her, or you put principles above emotions and say, I cannot want someone who doesn't want me, and for that, I am willing to pay with pain. It's simply a matter of an internal decision that needs to be made once in life. You have to suffer for it. If principle is more important than desire for a man, he cannot be broken. In general, exes most often come back when they are no longer needed. Monitoring an ex is the most foolish activity you can imagine. You go to her page, see her face, get a stimulus, but you don't get a reward. So, it's the same as being hungry and smelling a grilled meat burger. Your mouth waters, your stomach clenches, but unfortunately, you can't bite into it. Yes, just smell it, suffer, and look. Every time you remember your ex, you bring her back to life, her voice, face, laughter, and then suddenly the realization comes, we're not together anymore, and you bury her again and again. You don't just go through the breakup once because of this monitoring, you bury her 200 times. And then the guy wonders, why can't I forget her? Why can't you let go, buddy? But if you bury her once a week, how can you forget her? You're harming yourself with these thoughts, and why would you suddenly feel better? And do you know what happened to men who thought about their ex every day and allowed themselves to do it? They simply lost their minds. A person might check their mailbox every day. If an unknown number called and hung up, that's it. The man instantly concludes that his ex did it. There can be no other options here, but if some fake profile adds him on social media or even texts him, well, then everything is completely clear. I don't know how it works, but when an ex is very much needed, very important, no one reaches out. No one. It just breaks you, and that's it. But you don't even have a drop of hope, and you see that they don't care at all. It drives you crazy. But after some time, it gets a little easier. Just a little. And at this moment, the most you can expect is simply for her to reach out. She might just poke you. That is, when the significance slightly decreased, you seem to move on, but it transitioned into such a chronic form. That is, the person is still very important. Sometimes you remember them. It strikes you. You start to think, to worry. No, they don't reach out. They don't make contact. I say, only to torment you a little. But even if she reaches out, it triggers so many thoughts, new hopes, that it becomes even harder for you. And there was never a full result in that state. But in all cases, in all life episodes, when I had already made a firm decision, when I understood that I could no longer bear this pain, hope was no longer helping me, it was making things worse and worse. It was at that moment that I made the decision. That very one I'm talking about, that's it. Nothing else will happen. This is the end. This is the finale of this story. As soon as I did that, 2 weeks later, a month later, yes, sometimes it was longer, she would reach out, persistently, intensely, sending signals as if she could feel it. And I remember, I wasn't happy about it. Honestly, when you become smarter and more experienced, you don't rejoice. I look at it and think, why? Why are you doing this now? I just started living. Why did you do this now? And you don't understand what to do because it might even seem like a way out of no contact, right? And you're not happy about it. I remember that moment when, well, you think, okay, you get in touch, maybe even meet up. If it's an ex-wife, she might also send some signal. Maybe you'll even spend the night, go on vacation all the same. It doesn't matter, ex-girlfriend, wife, it's always the same algorithm. You think, well, this is it. We even kissed once, so something is left inside. But a few days pass and it's all new again, and you can't believe this hell. You think, Wait, what is this? Am I going through a new cycle of suffering now? Did I believe again, got back together again, and now I have to live through all this again, and bury her again? And the understanding of this, especially when you've lived through it not once, not twice, and not 3 times, it's a horror. It's a horror. And at a certain moment, you tell yourself, stop. I don't believe in anything anymore. Nothing at all. I don't believe. If you properly evaluate a woman, you will never have problems in a relationship. Here's how I personally evaluate a woman's value. Her loyalty is the engine. Her attention, care are the wheels. Her reliability is the gearbox. So it turns out that if a woman left you, there's no real value in her. It's a beloved piece of metal that won't go anywhere. The irony is that if an ex's return does happen, it finds such a man at a new stage of life, where this news is met not with jubilation, but with a calm confidence that he chose the right path, the path of self respect.